Thank you, Professor Papa Mazumza, for this. Or first of all, to compliment you and the Academy for organizing this very important symposium as a part of your midterm meeting, and that you chose this theme is apt simply because it happens to be the 100th birthday of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. I am sure that the speakers, the eminent speakers whom you have invited to deliver this talk, certainly are going to speak on the different facets of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. He was a multifaceted personality. So I indeed would like to compliment and congratulate the Academy and you in particular, Professor Partha Mazumdar, for organizing this very important meeting, a symposium, so to say, on the aspects of the life and times and also the type of contributions that Dr. Vikram Sarabhai has made to this country's development. I don't want to get into the details. I've got about 10-15 minutes, as the president would like me to say about. I would like to bring out, I said about a multi-faceted personality he was. He was a great thinker. And I cannot do any justice to that kind of a personality than to pick up three elements of his speeches which he made. And I want to say that these are the early speeches in 1966, and he used to give this talk as a part of the radio. They call it National Program of Talks. And this is a series called Exploration in Space 1966. And he had three talks dealing with three subjects. And I would just have quick highlight of a few lines from each one of those that really brings out the way he thinks, how he visualizes, and what kind of views he had 50 years back on things which are happening today. So I start along first with a talk which he gave on the exploration in space in 1966. This is the sources of man's knowledge. I was reading, and this comes, I'm quoting him. I was reading the other day an account of some famous Spanish captains who many centuries ago undertook daring voyages of exploration in uncharted oceans far from home. The explorer had to persuade their king to provide good ships with men and stores. They presented prospects based partly on the fragmentary observations of earlier explorers, but largely on imaginative dreams, craving for knowledge, a romantic love for nature and adventure, lust for wealth and power, courage of a rare type. These were the ingredients which pushed forward man's exploration of the earth. Today, the scene differs only in detail, in dress, and certainly in the number of copies in which special project proposals have to be submitted to sponsor. There is this element of what you may call as some fun when he makes this kind of a statement. The second point I would like to say is about his views on the life in the universe. I want to say this because first it's an academy. There is tremendous speculations about there is life in the other worlds, and there are very many missions now, NASA and ESA and other places, and India is also going to be a part of it. But his view 50 years back of what is life in other worlds, environmental factors along with those related to the mass of the planet and its distance from the sun, which controls its temperature, are presumably related to the existence of life on Earth. But one of the most truly remarkable aspects of life, as we know, it is that is the basic building block, whether in a blade of grass or in a microbe or in man or in a giraffe. In all cases, is the wonderful substance called DNA. This type of life can survive only within certain range of environmental conditions. We would like to know whether other planets have environmental conditions which could permit life based on the DNA molecule. Or is it possible to have other forms of life which are not based on carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, or other combinations of elements, including iron, as conceivable in Mars? At this stage, we run into speculations, but scientists will not rest until they confirm these through observations. It may well be that there is no other planet in our solar system which can sustain life. But then there are hundreds of millions of stars like our sun which can have their own planetary systems. At the present time, many implicitly carry a conviction that life is unique on earth. If and when this proves to be wrong, I would like to suggest that a very fundamental transformation will occur in the way man looks at life and nature. This is a thought he shared with all of us 50 years back. And you know what's happening today with regard to the searches of planetary systems and the life on the planetary system. And I also want to say India itself is planning to send up a spacecraft to look at the composition of atmosphere in the various planetary systems. And they are building a very ambitious space-borne 1 meter telescope. I think I'm eagerly looking forward, even in my lifetime, to see the first signs of life coming out of an Indian spacecraft. That's why I said this 50 years back, what Sarabhai had to say. The third part is a debate on the manned space system. You know, Modi ji has already announced that we are going to have a manned mission in the 75th year of India's independence, and therefore he has set a target to ISRO. This is what Dr. Sarabhai had to say about it. It is unlikely that man will restrain his image to see, to feel, and to listen himself if he can possibly accomplish all these. I do not expect that the debate on the merit or otherwise of putting a man in space would ever be settled. If you have to rely on historical experience, man will surely push ahead with adventures of this type backed by motives which are inevitably be mixed. In India, immediate goals of our space research are modest. We do not expect to send a man to the moon or put elephants, white, pink, or black, into orbit around the earth. So this is a statement again 50 years back in the All India Radio. So you can see the man he is, the personality that he is, and the vision he carries. So I am extremely happy that we are really honoring him by coming and reminiscing several aspects of his contribution to this country. I'm extremely happy to see, Partho, that you have really selected 2, 3 very good speakers drawn from 3 different themes and areas which are close to the heart of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. The first one, Ravi Grover, as you rightly said, is a Homi Bhabha professor at the Homi Bhabha National Institute at Mumbai, a mechanical engineer, but an extraordinary nuclear engineer. I know him very well. And he is currently a member of the Atomic Energy Commission. And most importantly, he also leads the Indian team to the International Thermonuclear Research Program in France. And also he is a proponent of nuclear energy. In fact, he writes a number of articles in Hindus and other places. And most importantly, when I was the member of the Planning Commission in the Rajya Sabha, they were the ones who really defended the India's nuclear energy program and the NE 123 deal with the United States, Kakodkar Grover duo. And so I remember his very significant contribution in this context. And he has been, of course, awarded Padma Shri. I am sure that he has something very specific to say about the 4 eventful years when Sarabhai contributed as chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission after the death of Baba, and where he also formulated a 10-year profile for atomic energy program, which is 1970 to 1980, if I remember. And that became the basis for providing directions for the atomic energy program. He has done enormous amount of contribution to the atomic energy, whether it is in the heavy water systems, whether it is fast breeder reactor and agriculture related things with nuclear radiation and so on and so forth. But we have a very authority here, so we look forward to hearing from Ravi Grover.